Have you ever felt that great sensation of snagging that monster fish, then having to use all of your might to reel it in? Fishing is considered a relaxing sport that many people around the world take part in. Fishing can take a lot of technique if you are planning on to catch some big fish. These techniques and steps include how to get set up for catching a fish, how to cast and hook a fish, and what to do when you catch a fish. Fishing is an exciting experience and allows one to get in touch with nature and have fun at the same time. Fishing is a fun but important. Fishing is fun, but it is also very important to know what to do and to have the right supplies before you go fishing. Right here I will talk about how to get set up to catch a fish. First, you must select the right bait. According to How to Fish, synthetic baits like power bait are made to resemble and smell like live bait, and pro shops are filled with all manner of elaborate and iridescent plastic lures. There are many different types of bait. There are hard baits and there are soft baits. Those are the two main categories. Hard baits, they're usually, they dive down in the water and they go to certain depths. Plastic baits, they can be made to look like worms, scorpions, crawfish, pretty much anything. Picking the right bait varies onto what fish you're trying to catch. If you're trying to go bass fishing, then you might want to get a worm, but if you're going catfishing, then you might want to get just some stinky bait. Next, you must have the right line, hook, and sinker. If you have the right line, picking the right line depends on what kind of fish and how big the fish you're trying to catch. If you have too heavy of a line, then it'll just sink down and it won't work properly. And if you have too light, then the line will break whenever you're reeling it in. Next, you must select the right hook. Selecting the right hook includes there's pointed hooks that are much sharper than other ones, and there are hooks that have a little, it's kind of like a thorn that goes down and it hooks in the fish. If you have the wrong hook, they could straighten out and then the fish will just fall off. And then next, you must have the right sinker. Having the right sinker, the sinkers sink your hook down to a certain depth, and that allows the fish to come to it. Next, you must know how to attach the hook, weights, and the bobber. If you don't know how to attach the hook properly, then it might just slip off or break. If you have the weights on wrong, it could just also fall off. And if you also have the bobber on wrong, it will just fall off and your weight will sink to the bottom. Another aspect to know about fishing is how to cast and how to catch fish. According to How to Catch Fish, the first step in learning how to fish is learning how to cast. And learning how to cast is very, very important. If you don't know how to cast properly, then your thing will go completely different.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay,
No.
thank you.
If you don't cast right, then your bait might fly off to the totally wrong direction and get caught up in a tree or something of that nature. And whenever you're trying to hook a fish, you will cast out and you will be waiting for you to get a bite or a nibble. And when you get a bite or a nibble, you will feel it on the line or you'll see your bobber moving. Whenever you get a bite or a nibble, you slowly jerk up to hook the fish. The next thing I'll talk about is how to keep a fish from jumping the line. How to keep a fish from jumping the line is to tightly reel it in, but if you reel in too tight, then the line may break, but if you reel too loose, then the fish may get off. The next important thing to know about fishing is what to do when you catch a fish. The first thing I'll talk about is how to remove a hook from the fish. Well, according to How to Fish, the biggest impediment to removing a hook is that the fish tends to be flopping around. It is sometimes very difficult to get the hook out of the fish because they may hook really, really deep in their throat, or they may just have to be all tangled up. If the hook is very, very caught up, then a lot of times the best thing to do is just cut the line if you're going to keep it and just skin it out. And then the next thing I'll talk about is to decide whether to keep or release your fish. If you decide to keep your fish, well, it varies depending on what state and the laws governing your area. If you decide to keep your fish, then you'll have to keep it in a live tank or putting it on a stringer, which is basically just a string that you tie all your fish together on and set it back in the water so they stay alive. But if you're just releasing it, then you just go down close to the water and let it loose and let it swim away. And then the next thing I'll talk about is keeping your fish alive. If you wish to keep your fish alive, then you must be very gentle with it, and it just had a battle getting to the shore. It was trying to get away from you, so it's going to be very, very fatigued. With these steps, it will be a lot easier to prepare, catch, and keep the fish alive. To become a great fisherman, it takes a lot of practice and experience. Important information such as how to get set up for catching a fish, how to cast and hook fish, and what to do when you catch a fish. Fishing can be seen as a sport, but can also be a relaxing getaway for others. Throughout this process, you will not only learn these things, but many more important things as well.